I'm gonna share 10 delicious recipes with you today that are quick and easy. And you can get dinner on the table in no time.
Whatever we would do, we do it just for fun.
In a pan, I am sauteing up some green pepper and onion. I'm gonna let that get soft for a few minutes before I do the next step. I have added some steak to the pan that we have cut into bite-sized pieces, and I'm gonna let that cook through with the peppers and onions for a few minutes. As far as seasonings, I just use a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. I am adding mushrooms to this, which is completely optional. If you do not care for mushrooms, you can leave them out. I added 2 packets of McCormick brown gravy to the meat and vegetables. I added a little bit of water, what the package calls for, and I'm gonna let that turn into a delicious gravy and let the meat soak up the flavor in the gravy. Dinner is basically done at this point. This is the part where it just simmers for a little bit, cooks together, and picks up the flavors. You can serve this over mashed potatoes or pasta, but we like to serve ours over rice. Tonight, we are grilling up some steaks. Let me show you what we used for seasonings. We're using Montreal steak seasoning, and we're using a new seasoning to us, and this is a wood fire garlic seasoning that we found at Sam's Club. We have some potatoes in the oven, getting all baked up, nice and yummy. Oh, don't these look good? They smell just as good as they look, let me tell you. For toppings for the potatoes, we have some chip dip, and then if anybody wants some salt and pepper, we have sour cream, and then for steak sauces, we have A1 and Heinz 57. For other sides, we have the sweet kale salad from Sam's Club, and we also have a crab salad. In a pan, I have some Italian sweet sausage. They're just the Johnsonville brand. And then I also have a couple chicken sausages. I'm gonna get those cooked up. For a side, I peeled and diced some potatoes. I put a lot of olive oil in there, and then for a seasoning I put some Mrs. Dash Southwest seasoning all over the potatoes. I'm going to roast those up in the oven. To the pan, I've added some red and yellow and green peppers along with some onion, and I'm just going to let these cook and sweat it out with these sausages and get the sausage all nice and flavorful. Tonight I am making chicken noodle soup. Now usually I add carrots and onions and celery, but tonight I'm not going to. I'm just doing a basic chicken noodle soup. For the broth, I'm using this Weiler's, and it is a bouillon cube of chicken, herbs, and spices. This adds the perfect little something to the broth. I have added about 10 cups of water, and then I added some chicken bouillon along with the 2 bouillon cubes from Weiler's. And then in a pan, I am cooking up some chicken. I have skinless, boneless chicken breasts, and I seasoned it really simply with some onion powder, garlic powder, some salt, pepper, and a little bit of Lawry's.
Gonna stay in this moment. Gonna lay here on the grass.
I added the noodles to the pot of chicken noodle soup, and this is what I love to use in our chicken noodle soup. It is Amish egg noodles. They're like a homemade noodle. They're so good, and you can find them at Walmart.
I am finally home at last.
Tonight we are having chili dogs, so I just have some canned chili warming up in this pan. So I put the hot dogs on a baking sheet, and I have some french fries. I'm just gonna throw everything in the oven on 425 and cook them up. In a pan, I am sauteing up 2 green peppers and some onion. To that, I am adding some sausage, Italian sausage. I'm gonna cook these all together until the sausage is completely cooked. So I cooked up some penne pasta, and I am letting that drain for a second. I reserved a half a cup of the pasta starchy water, and I'm going to put that in with the sausage. And I'm also going to add the cream, which is a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. I'm going to take that pasta and I'm going to add that right into the pan. I also like to season this with a little salt and pepper. Mix it in really well, and that is it. It is a simple, delicious meal. Tonight we are having an Asian dish. So to marinate the pork, you need a half a cup of olive oil, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, a tablespoon of minced garlic, 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar, a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. I know I still said that wrong. Mr. W sauce. 1/3 cup of brown sugar. 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. A tablespoon of Dijon mustard. 2 teaspoons of salt. And 1 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to give this a good mix. I have my pork loin all cut up into bite-sized pieces. If you don't like pork loin, you can also use this on chicken. It's just as good. We make it both ways. Once I add the sauce to the pork, I am going to let it set in the refrigerator for the day. After the pork has been marinating all day, I just add it to a big pan, and then tonight I am turning it into an Asian meal. So I am going to add a can of bamboo shoots, a can of bean sprouts, and a can of water chestnuts. I'm going to let all of this simmer together. I'm going to let that pork cook through really well, all the way done. And that is how simple dinner is tonight. We will be having it over rice, and it is going to be delicious. We also have a choice of cashews or peanuts to top it off. And on the side, we're having some pot stickers and egg rolls. For quiche, our quiche is pretty simple. So I take a deep dish pie crust and I pierce it with a fork. In a small pan, I have a can of mushrooms, a little bit of onion, and some red pepper in a pat of butter, and I'm going to saute those up until they're softened. I have preheated my oven to 350, and I'm going to put the pie crust into the oven for 15 to 20 minutes or until it is golden brown. In a bowl, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I am going to add a pack of the reduced sodium bacon pieces. You can do real bacon, you can do the fast cooking bacon. It is completely up to you. A half a cup of fat-free half and half. 1 1/4 cup of egg beaters. Some pepper. And the sauteed vegetables. I'm going to give this a really good stir to combine everything together. Once the pie crust comes out of the oven, you just take that mixture and you pour it into the pie shell. And then this is going to go back into the oven for 40 to 45 minutes. My crust fell off. It's on the back side of the quiche. But it smells so good. It looks good. And we are going to have some hash browns on the side. Tonight for dinner we are having Swedish meatballs, but I am using this McCormick pack of Swedish meatballs. It comes with the seasoning for your meat and seasoning for the sauce. It's really simple and it's very delicious and full of flavor. For pasta tonight, I have some egg noodles that I found in my pantry. So I'm using those, and it says for al dente, they only take 5 minutes. So I'm trying to time them right. I think I got it. Meatballs and sauce are pretty much done. Now I'm waiting on the pasta. The white sauce was pretty easy. You just pour a little milk into it, let it come to a simmer. This is just a meal that we always look so forward to. And then we're having salad on the side. I found the shepherd's pie recipe years ago through Food and Family magazine, and it is one of our favorite recipes for shepherd's pie. So I am taking a pound of ground beef and I seasoned it however you want. I just did salt, pepper, and some onion powder in it. For the potatoes, I usually use just instant. You can use regular if you want to, but I have used the home style buttered mashed potatoes. And to this, I'm going to add 4 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to let this melt down into the potatoes and mix it up really well. I'm adding 2 cloves of garlic and a half a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. To the ground beef, I have mixed in a small bag of frozen vegetables. And now I'm adding a can of beef gravy. At this point, I have sprayed my 9x9 pan and I put the beef and vegetable mixture into the pan for the first layer. I put the potato mixture on the top of the meat mixture, and now I'm going to sprinkle a little more of that shredded cheddar cheese all over the top of it. My oven is preheated to 375 and this is going to bake for 20 minutes. This smells so good. The recipe's below. I hope you give this a try. It is a delicious meal. If you want to see more content like this, check out these 2 videos.